What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. And if you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, man, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. I am on YouTube at March 4th Pod. I'm also over there on the TikTok at March 4th Podcast. Hey, man, the links to all my stuff are in the podcast description for this episode. So that means if you made it here, you found us somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you checking out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. Hey, man, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope the sun is shining and that you're smiling. And even if it's raining and you're not, it will get better. Trust me, it gets better. Just stay tough, persevere, move forward, just like this podcast and its name, March 4th, man. That's what I'm all about. And I have my good days and my bad days too, man, with anxiety and some obsessive compulsive tendencies, rumination, all these things that hold me back. But through therapy, working out, music, headbanging, and the creative people that I get inspired by out in the world, and several of whom I've been fortunate enough to have on this show, man, people I really admire and appreciate. I'm trucking along, man, and I'm in a really great headspace mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And thank you to all of you for listening, man. If this is your first time aboard the pirate ship, I really appreciate it. Everybody who tells a friend to tell a friend, everybody who likes and subscribes, all those things go a long way in helping the show get out to more people. So if this week's guest is what brought you here, then welcome aboard, man. It'll be a fun ride. Again, I hope everybody's year is off to a good start. By the time this episode releases, we will officially be in April. And actually, it's coming out on my brother Greg's birthday. So happy birthday, Greg, April 2nd. We were born 2 years apart, and my birthday is March 4th, as you may have been able to connect the dots with the name of the podcast. Maybe not. And my brother's birthday, yeah, is April 2nd. So, yeah, man, we're close. I love him. He's a pilot. If you've ever flown Frontier Airlines, he may have been your pilot. But he's a good dude, man. He really inspires me. He's somebody that knew he wanted to be a pilot from the time he was a little dude, flew privately, and then became a commercial airline pilot. So, on a personal level, he's somebody that I know who's truly doing what he wanted to do since he was a kid, and I really admire him for that. He's hilarious, and I love him. He's a great dad, and got a chance to spend some time with him a month ago for my birthday, along with my sister-in-law Kim and my niece and nephew Aubrey and Lucas. Shout out all of you. I love all of you, and got a chance to see my mom. I love you, Mom. I know she listens and supports the episodes, and I am just super grateful for my family, man. And I'm grateful for people who listen. I'm grateful for all my close friends who have been supporting me along this journey. And it's just, I feel just really happy and rejuvenated to be alive, man. And I've been fortunate enough to be a guest on a couple of other shows recently. Shout out to Anthony Church and the Proven Knowledge podcast. He's awesome. He's a great music producer, chasing his dreams with that. But in addition to that, man, his Proven Knowledge imprint that he started with his friend and rapper J Trey, go check him out. They're doing a lot of awesome things with the Proven Knowledge podcast and just the Proven Knowledge movement, man. Released a compilation record not too long ago that's really sick, featuring a lot of really cool artists. Shout out Black, who's on that compilation record. And I was on his show recently. So check out the Proven Knowledge podcast. He has a lot of great guests on there, and kind of similar vibe to this show about people chasing their dreams and going after what they love. Putting good ripple effects out into the world. And just this past week, as of the release of this episode, I was a guest on the Mixtape Queens podcast, and those guys are awesome. I love them so much, just like I love Anthony, man. Like I just being able to connect with great creators out here, the Mixtape Queens. They're like a full stop shop, man. So if you're a musician out there and you're looking for some help in terms of marketing, branding, graphic design, they do all of it. Obviously, they put out their own mixtapes as well, with all different kinds of music and genres, man. They cover all of it, but they're so cool. Shout out to Amanda and Elise. I love you guys, man. Had a great conversation with them. So it's been cool to be able to get featured on other people's shows, man. And I'm making enough positive noise out here, I guess, that I'm connecting with people in that way, and it feels great, man. There's a lot of dope creators out there who are doing really cool things, and I just feel very blessed to have garnered some of the attention that I've been able to get. But more importantly, coming from this stuff from just a place of love, as somebody who loves music, who's somebody who's persevering and trucking through in my own life. It's just cool when you put love out into the world and you get it back, man. I'm a big believer in what you give out is what you get back in due time, and it's just cool to be able to connect with really dope people, man. So shout out to the Proven Knowledge podcast, shout out to the Mixtape Queens podcast, and both their imprints, man. I love them both. And speaking of people putting good out into the world, chasing their dreams, doing what they love to do. This week's guest is no different. They are none other than Sunburnt. They're out of California, got a cool fusion of pop, alternative, hardcore, and pop punk. And in a very short period of time, with Sunburnt, that is, these guys have made some noise. As you will hear on this show, these guys have been at it for a while, man. We got Justin and Alex from Sunburn on the show this week, and I don't want to give too much away in the intro. And I'm already past 6 minutes, man, so I promise I'll get to it soon. Wrap it up. Chappelle Show reference. Holla. Anyway, but Justin and Alex, man, they've been making music together for a while, and we will get into that, and really, talented dudes, hustle mentality, as you'll hear from some stories from back in the day when they were following Warp Tour. And then over the last few years, as we've all seen, music lovers, the resurgence of pop punk and emo is really making a big comeback, man, with new generations of fans, the nostalgia for it, but also great new pop punk music. And these guys were like, yo, we're playing these pop punk covers, but we got something to say with our own music too. So, like I said, in a short period of time with Sunburn, I believe the first single they released was Not About It, and that came out last June of 2023. In January, on the 26th, they dropped their In Front of Me EP. The title track is in front of me. It's awesome. So is the rest of the EP, man. And got a chance to play the Viper Room back in early February. They've got more shows coming up. The next one, I believe, is April 19th in San Diego for you SoCal folks. But we cover a lot on this one, man, and I really appreciate it because Justin is a new father, and we went back and forth on some emails, and we're finally able to work out some time. Unfortunately, were not able to get Will on the show, but we were able to get Justin and Alex, and we just had a great conversation about their story in terms of music, and there's a lot of common threads with their journey and the theme of the show in terms of perseverance and moving forward. So without further ado, I'm going to shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with Justin and Alex of Sunburnt. Here it is. Justin, Alex, thanks again so much, dude, for taking the time to do this. I'm glad we were able to make it happen. And again, Justin, congrats on becoming a new dad in the last few months. But I just think it's a really cool time, man, with the music that you guys have been dropping, the shows that you've played so far, and the ones you've got coming up. So thanks for joining me, fellas.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Well, since we got two of y'all, man, why don't you let people know your name and what you play in the band, and that way when you're talking, they know who's speaking.
Alrighty. I am Justin. I'm the lead singer and rhythm guitarist. Um, we started Sunburnt like last summer, not even a year ago. Will's not here, so I'll tell what Will Brown is our lead guitarist, and then Alex, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Alex. For those that don't know, I'm the bass player and I sing backup vocals, harmonies in Sunburnt. Yeah, that's my role.
We don't have a drummer.
We don't have a drummer. We have one of those keyboard drummers. I'll just keep it real. We got a keyboard drummer.
We always have a live drummer though.
Well, the music's turning out great, and doing a little my research to get ready for this thing, man. Which isn't really homework for me. It's fun because I love music. But Said that you guys have been in various bands over like a decade and a half, 15 years. So have you guys like grown up together? Have you been in other groups before Sunburnt together or know each other through the scene? What's the skinny on that?
Justin, you want to
Yeah.
start off?
Um, yeah, so I've been playing music with Alex since I was 17, 18, maybe even younger, honestly. Known Alex. I'm 33 now. And Alex is a couple years younger than me, but yeah, we've been playing music together for almost half my life. Various bands. We had a band that we
Yeah,
were together in high school, and then we were in a band, more serious band, called Pop Fiction, probably in our 20s. And then we were in an emo night cover band for like the last couple years. But then all those bands that we were covering actually came back and started playing their shows on their own.
so it didn't make sense for
So
us
we're
to.
like, you know what? People are probably going to pay to go see, Yellow Card or whoever we were covering versus coming to see us. So we're like, all right, well, it's time to actually start a new band. So we started Sunburnt, and but yeah, we've been playing music together forever. Um, geez, yeah, all over SoCal. We played venues, but stoked on this new project. It's been really gelling, and we brought in Will Brown. I actually worked with Will at the company that I currently work at. That we actually started on the same day 7 years ago, and he's been playing music as well forever. And it just felt right, and he added that like more harder element that we never have really been into, and it's really gelled with our like pop punk that we've been normally been playing forever, and
Mhm.
just the more different types of chords that he offers when it comes to the guitar and melodies and things like that. So it's really like matured our music, I feel like, and we've our writing process is like insanely, it's got a lot more faster, and we gel more, I feel.
I agree.
Yeah, so just on like the emo and pop punk stuff, one thing I like to ask people is kind of what was the bug that bit them for music, because I feel like when you meet other people who really love music and it's not just something like a commodity to them where it's like, oh, I really love this, whether they play it or they work in it. It's kind of like the Spider-Man meme, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, you dig this too? Check out this band, check out this band. And like
Uh,
one of those people it's like tell me about all the new bands you listen to. Tell me like I love going down that rabbit hole. So for you guys, what was that moment for you when you were younger? Was it a person? Was it an album? Do you remember what was the
Alex is obsessed with. I'll let you I'll let you tell.
I guess I'll chime in and how that kind of started for me. Well, I was like my mom and my grandma, they played piano, when I was growing up, and I always loved watching them play piano. And then at that time, I was not so into piano. I wanted to play guitar. So, let me fast forward to like middle school. I finally got that opportunity, and it wasn't a guitar. The band teacher handed me a bass. And then from there, I kind of just fell in love with it. And then Blink 182 is kind of like my biggest inspiration. And then from there, I just got hooked on that band, and then the rest of that music that was coming out in that time. And I don't know, I just fell in love with the bass, and then playing these Blink songs in the garage, and then playing like Green Day, and like playing all these different bands that sound like it. It was amazing for me in that time period. But that's how that happened, and I just been playing ever since.
Yeah, and I'll vouch for him. He's one of the best bassists I know. So he's
No, I'm not that great.
um, yeah, just playing all types of music growing up. I mean, we were not on the Warp Tour. We were following the Warp Tour because we were just wanting to play for like we followed it basically for like 4 or 5 years, just trying to get our name out there. So we were like in every date across the United States, just like promoting our band out front, and then we try to sneak in and sell CDs and stuff. Um, so we've gone the extra mile just trying to promote our music everywhere and anywhere, whether it be a mall or another concert that's in town, we'd go to their concert and sell CDs out front, or let them listen to our music with our iPads or sorry,
That
iPod.
that was such a that was such a time. You're going up and down the lines. There's like 1,000 kids, and you're
Yeah.
selling these CDs with your headphones, and you're trying to sell them to buy the CD and like your band and follow. And now it's crazy how everything has changed.
Yeah. You get popular on TikTok or doing a dance, or
Yeah,
like, no one's really doing the hit the ground or, old school pop punk vibe of like promoting, like actually going to a show and be like, hey, you like this music? We like that. We sound like this band that's playing tonight. Like, check us out, like follow us, like all this stuff. It's word of mouth is, doing a TikTok video or an Instagram reel or something like that, which we're trying to get, accustomed to, but it's just a lot different than what we were used to growing up and like being in all these bands. But it's definitely necessary. Like a lot of bands that are popular nowadays got famous because I don't know, they did a TikTok video or they did a Instagram reel or they're, you know, got viral because of X, Y, and Z. So it's like we're trying to stay up on that, but like also stay to our, our roots with like how we like playing music and like how we came about starting music. So
Yeah, I dig the hustle, man, because you really do got to be your
awesome.
own. I mean, and even with this podcast, like same thing. Like I'm kind of a caveman when it comes to this stuff. I literally was using the computer that I got as a graduation gift from college in 2010 up until last year. So there are a couple of
damn.
times I had to I'd back it up and use the cell phone, and like I never want to come off as unprofessional, but there was a couple times it was like Windows 7 and it would go so slow, and I try to open Zoom and it would be like 10 minutes before because I'd be taking my notes and listening to the music. I'm like, all right, I'll fire up my computer now, and it's just like zoom, zoom. I'm like, oh no. So yeah, I'm starting to get into all of the more video content and stuff too, and trying to figure out, okay, how can I make the video look good, with clips from the podcast and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a different hustle now. Like as a band, you almost got to be like your own marketing team and
Yeah.
do it's definitely a different type of hustle. But I want
Mhm.
to the following the Warp Tour because I think that's really dope that you guys had the like the ingenuity and to just go, hey, we're gonna do this and put our names out there. What were some of the memorable moments that stick out from that? Are there any Warp Tours in particular, or just interactions with fans that you guys remember from those early days when you were playing music together?
Yeah, so that was like more than 10 years ago. And that this is like a handful of different bands that we were doing that with. But yeah, like Warp Tour would open up like at 11 a.m. So you'd get to Warp Tour like at 7 a.m. in the parking lot that they're at and just go up and down the lines saying who you are and, like, would you like to follow our band? And like, hey, like we sound like this band, let them listen to your song, sell them a CD for $5. We got a lot of fans that way. And um, yeah, it was just crazy how like people would be open to just buying a CD that they just met you like 5 minutes ago. But like people are hungry for that. And that's back to those pop punk days where people are like obsessed with Fall Out Boy and MCR and Yellow
Yeah.
Card and Blink and um it's just so different nowadays because people would be obsessed with that, but like if you go to that, like I don't know, if you go to like a venue now, I feel like they would be less inclined to be like, yeah, sure, let me check out your music. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like as a 33-year-old I don't think I would do that, but unless I'm putting our own show, like going down the line, introduce myself. Hey, we're opening tonight. Um, hope you like our set. Like, come say hi to us after we play. We'll love to, chat. But like, that's probably what I would do now. But yeah, there's just been some crazy stories. Like, we're texting in the group with Alex and some of the other guys that we were in bands with prior that we should probably sit on like a couch and like press record of all the stories that we have because so many crazy stories of just staying with fans in different cities and sleeping on couches and like sleeping in like hotel like arcade rooms and like things like that, like so many different
Sleep
stories. Yeah,
nights.
yeah, it's just, but I'm getting older, I'm gonna start forgetting those stories, so like we should probably meet together and like talk about that and just press record and like, yeah, but some of the best times, like I feel like those were during my college years because I never went to college. And like I always say, like, I feel like that helped me grow up a lot more because I was on the road with all these guys and just like learning how to be an adult and like, fixing cars when they would break down, like our van, and like how to change a tire and like get, stuff like that. And just like learning how to talk to people for once.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like it helped me develop a lot because I was like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and just like really like I always say like those were my college years.
Yeah, and I feel like doing that, is an experience that not a lot of people who take more of that traditional route of like, oh, I'm going to go to school, or they just start working, or maybe they learn a trade right out of high school, and they don't get that experience. And I think that's what's cool about being in a band. And I know there's a lot of stuff that aren't super cool about it too. You know what I mean? Like you said, when the van breaks down, or you're squeezing everybody into one hotel room, and it's not always the most you know, like coolest thing in the world as far as like some of the lows of the experience. But at the same time, you get to see so many parts of the country, like the positives, getting to see parts of the country, meeting a bunch of different people. And like you said, those are real world skills that you can't learn in a classroom. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
agree.
Road, getting a chance to see the country. And then as you get older, right, and your priorities change, like when you become a parent, or you start going to work, you move to a new town, bills, all those things, all that life stuff that we all got to do. So I think that's really cool that you guys had the wherewithal to be like, hey, we're going to follow Warp Tour, we're going to play these shows, we're going to get out there in front of the people. Because I still feel like in a lot of ways that kind of still works today, you know what I mean? And that's something that I struggle with, is selling myself, you know what I mean? Especially in the sea of podcasts that exists, because I never want to come off as like boastful, like, hey, I've talked to this band and I've talked to this band, and you should want to do podcasts because I actually blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's a way of like, you know, like you said, learning how to talk to people, getting out in front of people. And I feel like real recognizes real too, right? Like kids, like you said, that are really hungry for that kind of music. If you're at Warp Tour and you're there at 8 a.m., you're gonna be more prone
Yeah,
to check out another band, even if maybe they're not, you know, like you said, Fall Out Boy, and they go, oh yeah, but we like Fall Out Boy, we like Blink, and if you like them, you'll probably like us. They're gonna
Hmm.
have. Whereas now with our phones, right, it's just kind of like these algorithms that nobody really knows, right?
yeah,
Like, yeah, if you like a bunch of videos of skateboard and stuff, like that's going to show up in your feed more, but you don't really know like what's going to pop. So long way of me saying, I think that in those early years, you guys got to see the country, man, because I mean, how many people live till they're 80? Like where I'm from in Toledo, and this isn't a knock on my hometown, and I'm sure there's some of this that exists even where you guys are in California, and some of the places maybe surrounding California, but there's people that are there their whole lives,
yeah,
and go take a couple of vacations a year, but there's people that'll be 90 years old, and they'll die in their hometown, and maybe they've seen 10 or 15 states. But so I think that's really cool that you guys got to do that, man.
definitely. Alex, you were saying that
Hmm.
it's like a band, you're like a salesman basically, as like the opener
Yeah.
act. As the opening act, you're always like the selling, like basically like you're selling yourself. Hey, like this is who we are, and we're opening for this band because X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah. I said something like you're a band. You got to treat your band as a brand
the product.
nowadays, right? I mean, I guess even back then, because you start this band and you're not just starting the band to just, play with your friends and just play a couple of shows, like, Justin and I, and, for Will too, our approach was to, start a band and do it legitimately and not just, play some shows here and there, like go to like a really good producer and, get some really good shows and do it the right way, and not just goof off. But yeah, I think like even for yourself, Mike, like your podcast, like you got to treat that as a brand, like you have to, again, sell yourself on why we should why that person should be on your podcast or why that person should listen to your band. You got to feed them all this stuff to, for them to, like you or even have interest in it. So,
It's true.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm kind of like an introverted extrovert. You know, like I love stuff like this. Like if you dudes are sitting in my dining room, that would be dope too. Like I love like kind of more one-on-one, smaller. You know, I love the atmosphere of a live show because it's like everybody's there for the same thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's I'm not a musician like y'all, but it's maybe you can relate to this. It's almost like a spiritual experience, especially when you play. You hear somebody you love playing the music, and other people know the lyrics, and they're headbanging too, or they're getting down in the mosh pit. Like it's cool, especially nowadays with all of the kind of vitriol of social media and just kind of the times we're in, right? Where you
Mhm.
can put together in one room and everybody's cool, and it doesn't matter what they look like or where they come from or what band T-shirt they have on. It's like everybody's there for that same experience, and I
Yeah,
always
man. That man, I love that. That was like in high school. It was hard for me to be friends with the people there. You know, like I just wasn't fitting in. Like no one was relating to like all this music stuff I was already into. So I was like, man, I need to find new friends, but I need to find friends that literally like the same music I do and do the same things that I do. And that time, you know, like I was like 14 or 15, I was like, dude, I need something. So like you said, like going to a show and everyone there likes the same thing. I mean, that's still a thing. Like when I
Yeah.
go to that I like, or you know, if Justin goes to a Fall Out Boy show or whatever, these people are all there to go see, you know, Fall Out Boy, and it's like, damn, this is cool. Like I feel like I fit in somehow. So it's that feeling is still that's still a thing for sure.
yeah, that's awesome, man, because that's really what it's all about. And with Sunburn, I think it's cool because I love the songs that you put out. I think my favorites are probably, if I had to pick favorites, I would say In Front of Me. I love just because I feel like, especially with like the theme of the show, perseverance and moving forward,
Pretty
like that's
spot on. Yeah.
lifting. And I love Not About It too, and Built for This and Repeating are awesome too. Don't get me wrong. I just listening to it a couple of times. Those are the two that just really grabbed me the most. But what's it been like for you guys? I guess two-part question. No. But one to see kind of like the resurgence of pop punk and emo over these last few years, and then two, um, translating that into Sunburnt, like you guys said, going from playing covers and doing emo nights to going, hey, you know what? We've got creative fuel in the tank. Let's make our own jams.
Yeah, like we did that for like, we had actually some really successful shows here in SoCal, like we called it Saturdays. So sad der days to play on. And yeah, we played like 20 songs every night, and there'd be a lot of people that just would show up, and we would do kind of little to no promo, and people just showed up because they love that music. And so, so do we. That's why we were playing them every night. So we decided, like bands are coming back. This is like a giant wave. Um, we're gonna start a band, and it's gonna be elements of pop punk and emo, but like we're gonna also introduce like our own kind of spin on it. And the first song that we did was Not About It. And so you can kind of tell it is a little pop punky with like the verses, and the chorus is kind of big. Um, but then we kind of graduated into like, and also Built for This is pretty pop punky too. It's got like a Taking Back Sunday vibe, but like In Front of Me and Repeating are a little bit heavier, like on the choruses. Um, and probably because Alex sings on those ones. But yeah, we kind of like, did a little bit of spin on it, and like we're like we have something to say as well. Like we wanted to like, we were doing previous bands, and like they're a little bit more poppier. So we had some things left to say, and like we wanted to come out with some songs, and yeah, we have more songs that we're gonna put out later this year, and we're stoked. And we've have seen like a pretty great like audience like listening. Streams, like we've only been a band for like technically like 6 months. Like we released our first song in June, I think, or something like that, July this past summer. And um, yeah, we have like three more shows booked coming up. Um, and we're stoked. Yeah, people are listening actually, which is good. He spent a lot of time like writing it and like getting the artwork done and like, the pictures and everything like looks right for the single release. And then like for people to actually like it and listen to it, it's like it's a great feeling. Just because it takes so much time and effort that goes into it and money. But yeah, like just driving all the way out to LA to record and write and just like you have to be super vulnerable when you're going into those like writing sessions with like someone that's like a professional like that we work with. And so for them to be like, yes, I want to work with you, it's like humbling because it's like, dang, like they see the talent there and they see the like potential with when just from like sending them like a demo or something like that Alex made. It's like, why do you want to work with us? But then like the song comes out and it's like, damn, that was a good ass song. So it's like, I see why. And, I have to give myself more credit because I've been doing this forever. But um, it's cool to see these producers because we've worked with a handful of producers that like do incredible, huge things and like have signed bands go to them and pay them a crazy amount more than like what we're paying them. So it's like, why are they taking a shot on us? But it's like, they see that like, hey, these guys are talented. Like, would love to work with them because maybe they might pop off. And like, I worked with them first. So it's like, I can see why these producers are taking the chance on us. And,
But that's like kind of the thing that I said earlier. It's like, we're serious about it, and
yeah.
we want to really work with, those good producers, or that kind of thing. Yeah, it's been received pretty well. I love how collaborative we are in the studio. I think our intentions going into those sessions is we just want to write good songs, and songs that mean something to us, and also relate to, the other, all, because we're all in our 30s, right? We have all these like daily life stuff. We have girlfriends, we're married, we have kids, and we have these bills and all these like small, relatable things that anyone else can relate to, and we want like just are putting all that into the music. So as
It's
far as that,
real
yeah,
experiences versus like, I kissed a girl or I fell in love and stuff like that that we used to write about, which is still
yeah.
cool because that's what, we grew up listening to about. Like Blink has 100 songs that's about first
I mean,
dates.
we'll probably write like a love song
Yeah.
at the point, but that's just like the typical topics, Um, it's always a challenge when the producers are telling us, well, what's the song about? What do you want to write? What's it us three get challenged in that session, in those sessions. So really think about, what should we sing about? I don't want to sing about like nothing stupid, I mean, we could do it all day, but that's not a challenge for us.
Hmm.
Was it excuse me, sorry. Was it Jayden Seeley that you guys are working with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's done one, two, three songs, and then we're about to be in the studio with him again April 1st. So probably four songs. He was in his own band called With Confidence, which was like a pop punk band as well. And he just is really leaning on producing and songwriting, but he's actually becoming a solo artist himself. Um, but yeah, we really gel with him. I feel like he can turn one of our songs into like what we want it to be. Basically,
Yeah.
we'll
The
take an
first
idea.
the
Yeah.
first we had was we did Not About It with him, and I remember going in and leaving there like, damn, so blown away. This was like our first stab at getting back and being in a band, and going to a producer again to work with, and like that just first go around, it was like seamless. And shout out to Jayden. He's an amazing producer. He just knows how to get whatever out of us, to make the songs that we have out right now. I just feel like him also being in a band too, I think he understands that as well. So it's easier for him to, really get that stuff out of us, though, or those performances out,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's cool when you can find somebody where they're almost like that other member of the band where they understand what you're doing, they understand what you're going for, they can bring better stuff out of you. Like
Hmm.
doing this stuff for a while and interviewing different artists, it's always cool when you hear that they have that connection, with a producer, and there's artists that'll use the same producer and keep using them
Mhm.
because they
Yeah,
know that.
Blink. They worked with the same producer how many times? Yeah, I think Jayden was a great smart move, which is why we keep going back to him because we just are so comfortable. And like you said, like he will get that performance out of me or Alex or Will.
Mhm.
And it's also like the lyrics too. We'll have lyrics, but then it's also the way that it's sung too. So like he'll like say, no, this word actually that means the same thing might actually sing better when you're, in the performance, like actually recording it. I'm like, I never would have thought of that, but like, it might mean the same thing, but it's actually it's sung easier, and the listener might know it, sing along. It'll be easy for them to sing along. And I'm like, great. Alex, he said, what are the lyrics that someone
Oh,
see
oh
this
yeah, yeah.
in an
So
arena?
or I'm sorry, Jayden basically said, picture picture yourself at like the biggest concert ever, and just imagine all those people just singing
Lyric.
those words, those lyrics. Like,
And
think
I'm
of
like, shit,
being
okay, yeah.
that. Oh, okay. And it just worked. It was actually not about it that he was talking about. And we're like, yeah, I mean, you'll be saying not about it all day long, if you hear that song. I have friends who like our stuff, and they'll every time they see me, they're always singing that song for some reason, like not about it. So it's cool.
Yeah.
And how did you guys link up with him? Was it kind of a mutual thing? Did he find you? Did you guys reach out to him like, hey, this is somebody we think would be really, really dope to work with?
We were linked with his manager with our previous bands, just like she liked us. But she linked us up with him because, we were like starting out, and she was like, you know what? He's like really good at developing bands. And he developed us pretty well. So she thought that it'd be a good fit. And um, we just been going back and forth with him because he'll like, you know what, you go in, you demo a song with him. If you like it, then you can come back and finish it. So we've gone back every time. We've liked every demo that we've done with him. But I like that because maybe you go and write a song with someone and you don't like it. You put this time and effort into it, and it was a great demo, but maybe it didn't turn out as well that you thought it would be. Like we had a couple songs like that we never put out because it was a great stepping stone, maybe, but we like that process because the demo, you could sit on it for a few months and be like, oh, this part, it needs this, this, and this. And now we could finish the song because we sat on it for a couple months. We listened to it, and it grew on us, or maybe it didn't grow on us. And then we came back and finished the song. So I like that process because we've done all that with him, and like we've come back with the second session or the third session with him, and the song was just like, oh my god, like we have all these parts that now that we can hear, and he's like, oh yeah, I do too. And it's like, it's just like it's a cool process. And so yeah, stoked that we have the honor to work with him because he's so talented, and he's done great bands, and he mixes as well, like for good bands and stuff. So yeah, we'll continue to work with him.
I feel like the mixing part, right, for people listening to this, like that's the more that I do these, I've learned how important that final piece of the puzzle is too. Like what sounds kind of come out after it's all done. Like you have the demo, right? You go in, you do it, but the mixing and mastering, like because there's bands that'll use different people just for that. Like I think people don't realize once they hear it, through their earbuds or whatever, like that final step of it. So it's cool when you can find somebody who does all of that, man, because I know that's a big component of it too, how it actually sounds in the mix. And I
Yeah,
still stuff when you
it
get in
takes
your
an army. It takes an army to put out a song. Like there's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
co-writers, the mixers, there's the masters, there's the people that do your artwork, there's people that will, it's just there's so much that goes into releasing a single. And so that's why it's like you hype it up, you hype it up, you hype it up. And so it's incredible to see the reaction from people like on Spotify or Apple Music with the streams because it takes so much to put a song out and sacrifice with like driving and time and money. And so it's like it's really cool to see it all come to fruition with like be with these releases because especially with the last one with in front of me that we played like the single release party at the Viper Room because we had the most people there to see us and like everyone knew the song and I'm like this song came out like 1 week ago, how do you guys know it? It was like it was so cool to see that and like people singing it in the audience and the song came out like 6 days ago and I'm like what the heck, it's like
I'll
that
just
that's
fast.
what makes it all worth it because it's like geez, that's like what we're looking for. And so
Yeah.
uh that was cool experience.
Yeah, and just building on that in the time we have left, because I want to be respectful of your time. And thanks again, dude, so much. This is so cool. Able to catch up with you and learn more about it because I'm hyped for you guys. Like, what was that like playing the Viper Room? Obviously, again, a venue that's got a lot of history. I think even there was a band years ago that did like a showcase there. Like I think it's a venue that gets used for stuff like that, like record executives and people come out to a place like that. But again, and maybe it's just the Midwest boy in me, but I hear about these places like the Viper Room and the whiskey and stuff. But what was it like to play that? And like you said, have people already know the song, man.
Alex, yeah, it was a showcase, but I'll let Alex because he's always want to play the Viper Room.
Yeah, I mean it's just one of those iconic spots. Like Justin and I in our previous bands, we've played the Roxy, which is across the street, and that's like another big one too. We've played the Whiskey before. Um, but it was just like another one of those bucket list venues where I'm like, oh, I have to play there at least once. And Viper Room is just, small, it's hot and sweaty. It's all the things that you probably hear from other bands too. Even and just knowing the history of that place, and just being able to be on that same stage as the past bands and artists that were there, it's a pretty cool feeling. And then again, like Justin was saying, we had that song and people were just singing along to it, really loud too. So that also was just amplified the whole experience that night. So I was really happy we played that.
And also those old school venues have the marquee, which is cool to have like your band on the
Yeah,
marquee sign and like not all venues have that. So like that
just
was
a
pretty
small
cool.
little flex, small little
Yeah, it's
flex.
a cool flex
Oh,
and like, it's on Sunset Boulevard, which is like one of the most famous streets in West Hollywood. So it's just it was pretty iconic basically. It's an iconic night. It was a Saturday night. It rained a little bit, but like it was basically sold out, the Viper Room. It was a showcase that 6 or 7 bands played, but like we played at like the middle of the night and we had the most people there watching us. And yeah, it was really cool. Cool night.
And I read too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the name Sunbird kind of come from like the fact that you guys like have been these road dogs over the years, and like you were saying, going out to Warp Tour, being in the sun, handing out CDs and stuff to people. Like I actually thought that was really cool when I read that, especially with the theme of this being perseverance and moving forward, and then even reading about and listening to in front of me. I think that's why that one stuck out to me so much. Just the lyrics and just the positive vibe of that song, but it's also got grit to it. Because I feel like sometimes it's hard to write those positive, uplifting songs. Like
Without sounding cheesy or corny.
yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah.
that. Oh, it sounds great, man. But is that where the name Sunbird came from? Like just kind of your collective experiences over the years, because it's a dope name, especially the one name. Like I feel like it's cool to have like a one name as a band name, just to have one name that people remember.
Yeah. So to be honest, we actually struggled with the band name
Yeah,
for a very long time. We were actually a band for about a year, and then we finally agreed on the band name and then started releasing stuff. Just so it's been like a 2 year in the making project.
Mhm.
I would say, yeah, we started like, gosh, almost 2 years ago, and then we released songs almost like
yeah.
last summer,
We
but
we probably demoed, I don't know, 20,
30.
20, 30 things and came down to maybe these last few ones that we've put out. Um,
But
but yeah,
Sunburn, yeah, it's a tie-on of being from Southern California, but also doing it for 15 years and just being, in our 30s now and just like, hey, we still are here, and it's a cool, I like the one word as well. That was cool as
that was
well.
we were thinking about too. It was like one word, just
Easy to
straight,
remember.
you know,
It wasn't taken either, so that was
wasn't
good.
ta- wasn't take.
Well, before we officially close up shop, and thanks again so much, Justin and Alex. I appreciate it, man. And especially you hopping in on the car, man, too. That's dedication. I appreciate it. But
Yeah,
it,
man. Justin told me we were gonna be on your podcast a couple days ago or a week ago, and I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I might be at work, but I'll tune in. Yeah, I love like being on podcast and talking about all that kind of like different types of topics. So I appreciate you having us.
You're welcome, man. You guys are welcome back anytime. And I guess just to put a button on this bad boy, I know that you guys have a show coming up on April 19th in San Diego, I saw, which will be cool because when this hits people's ears, it'll be April 2nd. My other brother's birthday, so they'll have a couple of weeks to
Oh,
get it.
cool.
If they're not familiar and if they're in, on the West Coast, check out the show. But with the theme of the show being perseverance and moving forward, is there anything that you guys have gone through that you want to share, maybe related to the band or even personal experiences that have helped you get to where you are today, for people who might be struggling out there, whether it's anxiety or whether it's depression or just, maybe there's kids out there that are playing music and they're going through that grind that you guys, went through in the early years, to try to get to where you guys are. Anything that you feel like helped you get through to a better place, either musically or mentally?
Yeah, yeah, I can take that one. Basically, we have just stuck with it, and with being the song in front of me, actually, I think says it best. We, whether life can be difficult. A lot of curveballs with jobs and having, relationships and having kids now, myself. So a lot of things can change, but like, you know, you got to stop looking in the past because everything's moving forward. And so that song, like, says all you need is in front of me is basically saying like only keep your head forward because that's all you have left in life is just to move forward. You can't always be dwelling on the past, whether,
Yeah.
be stoked on maybe have great memories in the past, but you have memories in front of you. And I think with me having a kid, don't want to get emotional, but like, I am looking forward to growing up with him and him going to my shows and singing my songs and just so like keeping myself moving forward. And yeah, it's just I think it's a game changer because I'm able to still do this like and having a kid and there's it's a lot of juggling and stuff like that, but like yeah, not giving up, always moving forward. We've been doing this forever, so it's just like being able to still continue to do it and play these iconic venues. Like we're playing the Echo next weekend, which is pretty crazy because huge bands play there as well at the Echo and Echoplex. And so, and then, the following weekend we're playing, or no, in April, we're playing in San Diego at House of Blues. It's just like things keep coming, but like if you stay positive and you have this mindset of like, continuing
Just
to work at it and
yeah.
hustle and yeah, just moving forward. I think that should be your life goal. And you can't always dwell on what happened and what could be or what, so yeah. Alex, you
Yeah.
want to add anything
Yeah.
there?
I would say to anyone that's listening to this, whether you're an artist, a band, or just a person going through stuff. At least for me, music helps me deal with all of the anxiety that I get from, just all the daily life stuff. And it's just that's what keeps me going. If I didn't have music, I'd probably not be here, So for those people who are struggling, I mean, it's music for me. And to just keep going, stop overthinking stuff and just do it. Especially for people who are starting a band and they want to kind of get in that groove of being serious about it. I think you just have to do it. You're going to run into a lot of trial and error. But it's good to go through that because then you learn about yourself, and then you learn creatively, what your role is and what the goal of you being in this band or you being an artist. And I think like moving forward with your life. Stop dwelling in the past. It is what it is. Just keep going, and just do whatever makes you happy, and just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Life is gonna hit you, throw you some curveballs, but you just got to keep going.
March 4th.
March 4th, literally. You just got to keep
Okay.
marching.
Well, dudes, I really appreciate the time again, man. Alex, Justin, thank you so much, and thanks for even sharing that and opening up, man. Because that's why I love doing this too. Because I feel like we're all gonna go through periods of darkness, but those things teach you a lot about yourself, a lot about life, a lot about other people, and it's how you translate those experiences that make all the difference, man. So I think it's really cool that you guys are doing what you love to do and that people are vibing with it. I have Spotify and seeing the streams, like you guys said, for just putting out music over the last, I think not about it was what, June, and to see it in less than a year, what's popping off for you guys is really awesome. So for people who aren't aware, and if they're new to Sunburnt, check them out. But where can they find you if they're not aware?
We're on all streaming platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Pandora, all those fun things. But we are probably the most active on Instagram. So we are Sunburnt, a little play on there as well. At We Are Sunburnt is our handle for everything. So it's pretty easy to find us on any social media as well. And
Yeah. Shout out to everyone that's been liking our music. I really appreciate the streams and like all the people just really giving all that positive feedback. I really appreciate that. So shout out to everyone that's just loving what we've gotten so far. So yeah, it's really cool.
Well, guys, thank you again, man. Enjoy the rest of your night and keep in touch, man. I really appreciate you guys making time to do this, and you're welcome back on the show anytime, man. I'm really digging what you guys are doing, so I
Yeah.
appreciate.
thanks for having us, man.
Alrighty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with Justin and Alex of the band Sunburnt. Make sure you go follow these guys on Instagram at We Are Sunburnt. The links to all of their stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. So just scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support Sunburnt. If you love pop punk, hardcore, alternative, they put it all in a blender for their own unique sound. I'm a big fan of what they're doing, man. Once again, their EP In Front of Me just dropped on January 26th. It's available everywhere you get your music. Great compilation of all the singles they've put out since they came back onto the scene as Sunburnt, and I'm really stoked for their future. I think I just saw on their Instagram that they were featured on the Unsigned Pop Punk playlist on Spotify, which is awesome, man. Those playlists go a long way in getting their music out to new people, and hopefully this show will make some noise for them as well. So I just want to say once again to Justin and Alex, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast and share your story with myself and the listeners. It was really cool to hear about the hustle mentality that you guys had back in the day in your former band, following Warped Tour, connecting with fans, really getting after it. And the fact that you guys were playing these awesome emo nights and had the wherewithal to go, yo, we still got something to say. We've got our own unique original music in us, and you're putting it out there. And then to see the reception that you're getting, really dope, man. So congrats on all the early success. And again, man, I'm just really pumped for you guys. Big fan of what you're doing. And I just really think it's fitting how your journey ties into the theme of this show of perseverance and moving forward. So thank you so much, you guys. I also want to say thank you to Johnny Zirkle over at High Road Publicity. We connected a couple of years ago now, I think going back to 2022. And he sent me so many awesome artists, man, including the guys in Sunburnt. So, Johnny, thank you so much for being a believer in the show. Man, I got like a squeak going on in this chair. It's throwing off my game a little bit. I might have to switch my dining room chair around. I've done a lot of episodes now in this here seat, and maybe it's just time to switch around the card table a little bit. Sorry, guys, it was throwing me off a little bit, man. I don't know if you can hear it. Probably not. It's just driving me nuts. It's like one of those things, you know. I swear it's not the voices in my head. There's a legit squeak going on here. But anyway, get back on the track, Mike. But yeah, man, I'm really stoked for Sunburnt and really grateful for everybody who's checking out the show, man. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, like I said, to be in a position where I'm getting featured on other podcasts. I'm getting featured in some online publications. Stay tuned. There's another one coming soon. And I'm not bragging here. I'm just saying I genuinely do this stuff because I love to do it. And to be able to be in a position where I'm making positive ripple effects, not just with attention that the show is getting, but being able to talk to the guys in Sunburn, being able to develop professional relationships with people like Johnny, to have really really cool people who I didn't even know a month or two ago that reached out and said, yo, dude, I love the show, I love what you're doing, I want to share your content, I want to connect you with other cool people. There's a lot of positive stuff happening, man. So I'm just going to ride this wave for as long as I can. I have a tendency to ruminate and focus on the negative, and I'm not doing it. Not doing it anymore. It's 2024. 24 is one of my favorite numbers. It's a new year, and I know people say new year, new me, but I'm really trying to do that, man. And I'm on a positive wave right now. So for those of you who are like, dude, I just woke up, I'm just having my coffee, this is a little overwhelming. Too bad. All right, too bad. So yeah, man, thank you to all of you for checking out the show once again. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. You can follow me on YouTube at March 4th Pod. I'm on TikTok. My link tree with all of my stuff is in the podcast description for this episode. So if you want to learn more about me, if you want to connect with me, you know where to find me. And again, if you enjoyed what you heard, please like and subscribe. If you're somebody that has a thirst for new music the way that I do, and you love learning about new music, or for the other guests that I have on the show who aren't musicians, if you're in somebody who's into inspiring stories of people who are overcoming or chasing their dreams, that's what we do over here, man. So if you want to like and subscribe, that means you'll never miss a new show. And for those of you who are new here, if you want to take the time to tell a friend, if Sunburnt brought you here, awesome. I've had several pop punk and alternative artists on the show, and you can go back in the back catalog and listen to all of that for free. I'm giving it to you for free. So, and if you have Apple or Spotify and you leave a rating or a review on there, it goes a long way in helping the show get out to more people. Apple, you can leave they're both on a 5-star scale, I believe. You can leave a 5-star scaled review. Hopefully it's not 1 star. That would be uncool. Like, if you just don't like it, don't listen to it again. But if you did dig it and you want to give me a 5-star review, that would be awesome, because it'll just continue this journey for Sunburnt in a positive direction and the show. Apple lets you leave a comment. I think Spotify is just the star rating, but yeah, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I'm really excited for where things are going. I'm excited for 2024, and I haven't had this kind of optimism for life in a little while, man. And it just feels good to turn over a new leaf and to shed my skin and just really feel like I'm stepping into something beautiful. So, I'm not going to be cheesy and be like I'm basking in the sun rays and I had sunburn on the show. But it truly is a new beginning for me this year, man, and I'm really excited for it, and it wouldn't be possible without all of you. So on that note, I love you all. Keep the faith and be kind to one another. Courtesy of Sunburnt, here is their track In Front of Me. Peace.
Trying to get better. The dotted lines are all I see. I'm not awaiting, so get it. Leaving behind the should have been fresh.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again.